Why is it even problematic?
Because he didn't win the election.
So let's just say he didn't.
Okay. Well, then agree.
Stop,
agree.
Spurgley. Let's just say he didn't. Let's just assume
Kamala?
it.
Just
Stop,
like Kamala?
Spurgley.
Could Kamala
Let's
have
just can I have a back and forth for
The election
2
was stolen.
seconds?
I mean,
without you nipping my
heels. This is interesting
Spurgley.
that we're even on this. Like, the election was stolen, guys. That is why
the 2024 election?
The 2020 election.
Andrew Wilson went on Timcast IRL and completely shut down the panel. They were throwing out some wild takes, and he handled it live on the show. Let's check out the clip.
Do you think if Donald Trump threatened to kill an American, that would be fascistic?
Well,
fascistic?
Well, I mean, like, so
we're gonna
just to clarify.
Yeah, I know. It's really
We're
you're gonna try to go somewhere. Blah, blah, blah. I want to stay focused because what I'm seeing
we
here
are
is
being
No one's allowed to talk but Spurgley.
Yeah, come on.
No
one's allowed to talk but Spurgley.
I'm trying to advance the conversation by asking a question to clarify the
point. I'm going to go back to what we were talking about.
You guys said he's threatening the media. Andrew said that he hasn't actually done it. So I'm trying to say, what if it was a more extreme threat that wasn't just, I'll pull a license? What if Trump said he would kill an American citizen? Would the threat of killing an American in and of itself, without the action of doing it, be fascistic? And this is for everybody.
Specifically. Like he's going to...
Like if Trump said, I'm going to shoot a guy on Fifth Avenue, I'm going to go do it right now. My point being, threatening to take legal action, we can argue whether... Like it seems kind of a legalese question. So I'm trying to shift it to, let's talk about an extreme action Trump could threaten.
Okay. Well, I still haven't gotten
an
an explanation of how it's acceptable to try to block the peaceful transfer of power from Andrew, which is what I keep saying. You brought up the fascism word. I said, hey, I get that people get real bogged down, which is why I've had hours of discussions about that particular term. I came here interested to see if MAGA figures could defend the actual actions, not the label, but the actions. And I'm yet to hear you walk through any of them. We're getting a little bit to the specifics of the media, so I appreciate that. But so to answer your question, him trying to induce a feeling of fear among the media as it's working with his rhetoric, with clear intentions, some of which he didn't actually get done the last time, but like he wanted.
Let me explain why I asked the question.
And I'm still waiting on either of them.
So here's why I asked the question about killing an American specifically.
Obama, I know.
No, it's because whether or not the government can pull a license is a legal question over whether or not they violated a public license. And so you guys are then arguing outside of the actual confines of a legal issue, which so let's make it definitively an issue of illegal or legal.
Or we could talk about what Trump is.
Okay, the federal government grants public licenses with stipulations. If you want to debate whether or not they can or can't, that's a legal procedural question.
You understand you can have the governmental power to do something, but how you leverage it for the purpose.
This is why I tried shifting away to something more direct, like killing somebody. A threat to kill somebody is a direct question.
Again,
well, the government can kill people.
The government can kill people.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, this belies the point of it. Like, this idea that it can't be authoritarian or it can't be fascist if it is within the technical legal confines of the federal government. That's absurd.
That's not the point I'm making.
Of course.
Which is why, again, the semantics would be really important here to clarify what we mean when we say fascist.
No one's bringing that up. We don't care about the label.
Yeah, I'm bringing it up, Spurgley.
Okay,
that doesn't actually tell me what we mean by this.
Guys, sure, it makes for great clips, but we don't need the ad hominems. You called him boring. You're calling him Spurgley. We don't need to do that.
Oh, well, boring. I mean, the conversation.
I don't think you're boring.
I don't think you're boring.
I'm not.
I just thought the conversation was getting.
And he is
boring,
Spurgley. So, but anyway.
Oh, call me whatever.
I'm actually happy to dive into this. You say that I'm avoiding your questions. I'm not. First of all, I'll answer them directly.
Sure.
It's well within Trump's rights, even if it was. Let's just say we're right. Let's just say I grant it. It's within his rights to set alternatives electors. He's well within his rights to do that. Tell me why that's even wrong.
Aren't people being prosecuted in states for participating in this scheme?
Who?
The fake electors.
Ooh.
In all
wait, I got a question. Does the law prescribe morality?
No.
Wait, you said the right. Do you mean legal right or moral
yes
right?
or no question.
Oh, sorry.
No, I wasn't mad. I thought it was a good question.
So what's actually wrong with it?
So
Why is it even problematic?
Because he didn't win the election.
So let's just say he didn't.
Okay. Well, then agree.
Stop, Spurgley. Let's just say he didn't. Let's just assume
Kamala?
it.
Just
Stop,
like Kamala?
Spurgley.
Could Kamala have
Let's
done
just can I have a back and forth for
The election
2
was stolen.
seconds?
I mean,
without you nipping my heels.
This is interesting
Spurgley.
that we're even on this. Like, the election was stolen, guys. That is why
the 2024 election.
The 2020 election.
Oh shit!
It was stolen.
I mean, I'd like to just dive into this so that we can figure this out real quick.
Why was it stolen? How was it stolen? That's a big
Multitude of
part.
different factors here. I mean, I wrote it down. We got the mail-in ballot fraud.
that was a pretty sleek move there.
Dominion voting systems, vote counting observers, late-night ballot dumps, ballot harvesting, double voting, foreign interference, improper voter registration practices, manipulation by poll workers, geolocation data, surveillance footage, whistleblowers, vulnerabilities in election laws, suppression of the Hunter Biden laptop. I mean, what else? I mean, I think anyone with any common sense would understand, because we're talking about the fascism, and he challenged the election and all this other stuff. Let's talk about why he challenged it. It was
because he lost.
No, because it was stolen.
Right.
It was
And
stolen.
sure?
There's a multitude of evidence to show that the
court-
2020 election, there was some type of interference to some degree. There's a multitude.
Which court he was able to demonstrate that in?
Pennsylvania in the lower court ruled on the merits that they
It was
violated.
like a procedural, but not.
No, it was an actual hearing where
the
the judge said that the Constitution of Pennsylvania was violated by the implementation of universal mail-in voting.
Look, if I were someone on the left, I'd be asking myself some serious questions here. Even if you think people like Andrew Wilson or Tim Pool might be exaggerating about issues in the 2020 election, let's just give that benefit of the doubt for a second. Say they are overblowing it. Still, if the other side is saying, we don't need election reform, we don't need to double-check anything, we don't even need to make sure election integrity is as strong as it can be, that would really bother me. Because if you truly care about fairness, why wouldn't you want the system to be as secure as possible? So to me, if you're on the side arguing against even looking into reforms or improvements, that doesn't feel like the good guy position. It honestly feels like the wrong side of the argument.
The higher court, right? So we should probably defer.
So he asked me which conservative. I said,
right, I understand, but I assume he's referring to like a court's verdict or a court's
And
ruling,
you just
which
listed
actually
a bunch of like you brought up geolocation data. That was in like 2,000 mules, and they had to admit when
Yeah, but the point I'm
reason
trying to make
this is
is
a
that
terrible
there's a
argument-
multitude of different factors.
The reason
that
this is
come
a
into
terrible
why.
argument is because if I say, okay, well, then who got prosecuted for insurrection? You'll say, well, just because they weren't prosecuted for insurrection doesn't mean it wasn't an insurrection. It's
No,
like,
I'm saying you actually have to
okay,
prove
great.
claims, not
just
just make
because,
them.
well, hang on, Luke.
yeah.
Well, just because he wasn't able to demonstrate that the election was stolen in a court because they threw most of it out on standing doesn't mean it wasn't stolen. It just means that we had a bunch of
What
judges
about the guy
who went after it on standing. But there is a lot of evidence here that should be looked at. I'm not saying it was stolen. It's not my position. Okay, but I am saying that.
Do you have a position? Just out of curiosity.
I think it should be investigated, and it never properly was.
being investigated.
No, yeah. When Trump is in office, I think he should actually run a real I think that the idea that Trump, so Biden takes the White House, that there was a legitimate investigation done by the Biden administration for the guy he could have lost to. I think that that's ridiculous.
But doesn't that motive
Trump
work the
administration
opposite way
investigated.
too?
Go ahead.
Doesn't that motive work the opposite way? Because Trump's position was before the election, it's stolen, it's rigged.
Well,
and during the
that's a fair criticism. I just think that you have enough third party people which can be approached who could investigate this in a way in which it was fair.
They hired like third party groups. So like, was it Cyber Ninjas?
They weren't
and some
able
others?
to, first of all, they weren't able to subpoena a lot of the evidence that they wanted. They had a lot of the circuit courts throw things out on standing. I do not think that this was a legitimate investigation. And there are some things that should be investigated. For instance, it's not a secure election to have people just dropping ballots unsecured in a ballot box. That's insanity.
Yeah, but respectfully, Andrew, like subpoenas and standing, these things are like valid legal constructs. Like you have to meet like probable cause for a subpoena. If you don't have probable cause to get a subpoena, then that's on you. And if you don't have standing to bring a case, then again, that's on you.
I'll bring this up again because it's important. Take Florida, for example. After prioritizing election reforms, they had all their ballots counted and results ready within about an hour of polls closing. Everyone knew who won and where. But then you look at states like Arizona and California, and it took over a week, even 2 weeks, to get the full results. That just feels unacceptable. What really surprises me is that half the country seems fine with not making any improvements. In a perfect world, both sides would come together and say, hey, let's put everything aside and just make sure our elections are fair and secure. Because without that, we don't really have a solid foundation to build on. That's why this debate matters so much. Let me know in the comments what you think about Andrew Wilson going back and forth with Luke Beasley and the rest of the panel.